back to another episode. So yes, it's not a clickbaity title. This is just literally a case of where do I see our grandiose overlords at Play Magic going with the Polymega. Now, bearing in mind, I've had this thing for a long time now. Yes, I've had it about 2 years, which is pretty neat, pretty cool, pretty great, blah, blah, blah. Stuff in the box, that's helpful. So yes, we've had it for quite some time. And in that time, they have done a grand total of They have done a grand total of about 6 modules. So that makes me wonder. That makes me wonder ever so slightly what the plan is. What's the plan? What's the plan with Polymega? So, with Polymega, actually, I just get something. So, recently, and by recently I mean last couple of years, Polymega has had its sort of crowning achievement, we can, you can sometimes buy this. They then went, hey, we're also doing the gun. And the gun actually came out, the gun actually works on some games. Not on all, but that's okay. That's sort of to be expected, considering it's, you can't test absolutely everything with the gun. But it's not a bad bit of kit. It does actually work, which is nice. I need to actually properly mega test it, but cool. And they've also done 2 additional modules. So the first one, which I have purchased both. I did hold off on buying the gun because I wasn't sure if it was ever going to come out. So they bought out the N64 module, which, what's a polite way to put this? Kind of sucked. It kind of sucked. It did kind of suck, which is a shame. But it's not the best module they've done. It's not the best module they've done. It's not even the module I use the most, to be fair. The module I use the most is the Mega Drive one. But, nice sentiment. And they are slowly working on fixing all of this particular one's fucking issues. They then got a nice big fat investment from Atari, which they put into things like Polymega Collection, where they release a series of compilation games with nice pins. I've talked about the Polymega Collection before, and that gets released, and it's like, cool, they're doing physical releases of games, which is a big part of why people buy this fucking thing in the first place. It was 600 quid 4 years ago when I bought it, and I bought it in one go. I bought it and the first 4 modules, and then I waited 2 years. I waited 2 years to get it, to celebrate a job that had subsequently gone under. So, thanks. So that makes me curious. Where did Polymega go from here? So, they've done the Mega Drive module. They've gone out and made a Mega Drive module. They've gone and made a light gun. They've gone and released physical games. And they're also doing an Atari module. So this Atari module is going to play Atari 2600 and Atari 7800 games, which is nice. Very cool. Very good. Very lovely. However, there has been an additional thing sort of in the background, and I'm also wondering on the module front. So on the back of these is a little QR code for the Polymega app. Now, a few years ago, mostly to say to everybody, hey, look, we know this thing is taking forever. We know it's hopefully going to come out and you've sunk hundreds of pounds into this fucking thing, and we know that's a pain in the ass. So, to compensate, we're offering you a year subscription to the Polymega app. So the Polymega app essentially allows you to, from what I know, and from what we've been able to ascertain, essentially allows you to add your games onto your library and then subsequently play those games on your phone or on a laptop or on something else, whatever can download an app. They've also been having a bit of a chat about something called the Polymega Game Shop, which was right there on the back going, right, okay, what does that mean? What do you do? What does that mean? You know, how are you going to play? How are you going to do that? They're meant to be launching this Polymega game shop last year. That's what this little QR code on the back there does. And then you have that Polymega home thing that is not the Polymega app, it's completely separate. And that was going to have its own module, and fuck knows if that thing is ever going to come out, because it was supposed to be like a hub or something. I don't really know, it just seemed very confused. So, where does that leave us? Polymega is currently, well, several years old now. It's about 5 years old, maybe 6, I don't know. First modules was sort of the first consoles were around like early 2022. Late 2022, and then had to wait another fucking year to get this bloody thing. And we're now 2 years on, and I am using it. I still need to get a new memory thing for it. But yeah, where does the future lie? So, digital game shop. Cool. Maybe. Question what games will be on there. Would it be a series of reproduction? Would it be a series of old games from various publishers that they have managed to get under their belt, like Atari and Toaplan and Jalico and Pixel Heart and all that other shit? Nice. Thing is, that's what this kind of does, so we'd have to see. Makes sense if you say you wanted just the, I don't know, the Lynx version of Super Asteroids and Missile Command. Makes sense. Okay. That could be a good angle. I'm sure you'd agree. On the Polymega Home thing, or whatever the hell it was called, I'd be curious. It's an interesting idea. It's essentially you can play all of these retro games on the go without having to have an emulator. They're essentially yours. So from a legal perspective, it's nice. You're playing legal versions of your games on an app, which, okay, as well as games you download, I would presume. Sort of a Game Pass, but for retro shit. I am a little curious, though, because I've been sort of stocking up on a couple of types of games for a reason, which I will just very quickly grab. Come here, baby. So I've been stocking up on some games, specifically for systems they haven't done modules for. And to me, it would make sense that their next, maybe not one of them, but certainly the next 2 modules that they announce would be the following. Maybe. So we've had the N64 module. We've got the Atari module incoming, which was supposed to be here last October 2025. It's now February at the time of recording, so sure. 2026. That leaves me go, right, where's the next one? Could it be Master System? Which was weird to me. When I bought the Polymega, I was like, oh, okay, there's just like a blanket Sega one. Not for this. No Master System, you can't in fact, I bought a crap load of Master System games to play on the Polymega, only for it to arrive, and I'm like, oh. Or more accurately, for it to be announced that it won't be Master System compatible at launch, and I was like, okay, that's a bit strange. Surely it makes sense to have Sega's first console, especially seeing as you've got the PC Engine, and the NES has its own module, and the Mega Drive has its own module with 32X support, which is mostly what I use that module for, by the way, because I love 32X. Surely, perhaps, Bude, it would make sense to do a Master System one. That would be my next bet. I think the Atari one was mostly because it's part of the investment deal that they got from Atari. They got a few million pumped into the company, which is nice. So I would imagine the next on the list, once that is out, would be the Master System, because it's probably the most popular console they haven't covered. Like, bearing in mind, they were like, yep, the one we were asked for most, it was this boy, everybody wants to be able to play Nintendo 64 games on their Polymega. Oh, the analog 3D came out and is better at running N64 games because it's FPGA and not emulator. Shit. To be perfectly honest, if you want to play a HDMI version of an N64, buy the analog 3D. That being said, it is ludicrously expensive, what is essentially an N64, so you'd probably just be better off buying an N64 and buying an adapter for HDMI. Pretty much the same thing. Although it adds like other shit, I don't really care. Polymega, on the other hand, I don't mind the module. It's okay. It doesn't run the best, but it's all right. It runs certain games fine. It runs other games absolutely terribly. So, strikes me, however, this would be sort of next in line. I mean, why the Master System hasn't been touched so far is a little bit confusing, given that in the great grand scheme of things, it's one of Sega's most popular platforms. I mean, I wouldn't say all of Sega's platforms were particularly unpopular, but this was directly competing with the NES, and it's weird that the Master System doesn't have a module, or sort of wasn't the next one after the N64. I thought it would be. I was like, okay, next module will be this. Of course it will. Everybody's going to want Master System. It's Atari. Okay, fair enough. So fingers crossed for that one. So hopefully I can make use of not that I don't have a Master System, but at the very least I can play these Master System games on my Polymega. That'd be great. That's what I bought them for. Hell, that's why I bought all these Neo Geo games. And indeed, all of the Polymega collection that you can see in the back there. Yes, I am currently 2 behind. I am waiting for the next ones to release. And to be fair, Polymega and Playmagi have gotten a crapload of my money as a result of this. A crapload of my money. Like a lot. Hundreds and hundreds of pounds by this point, probably well over £1,000 for the whole fucking collection, including the 82 quid I spent on this, and the 100 quid I spent on the module, and then the 80 quid I spent on this, and the £600 I spent on that. It all really adds up. That being said, I want to give them more money, so I'm hoping my next hunch is correct. I think that Polymega have about 3 modules they can realistically do that have a realistically large enough fan base for, at least amongst their chosen audience, which is obviously collectors. Collectors are going to want to play the Polymega to play their shit on a big TV. That's why we buy this thing. That's why people invest hundreds, if not thousands, of pounds into the Polymega. So we've covered the Master System. That's kind of obvious. It's kind of obvious they would do a Master System. What about an Atari Jaguar module? Now, Atari Jaguar has a thriving community. It's growing all the time, adding crap loads of new games, literally every year, if not every month. Like, there's always a new Jaguar game in development. It's got more love now than it did at launch. It's got more love than it ever did in the 90s. So you've got this very fertile fan base who would love the opportunity to play their various Atari Jaguar games on a big screen TV without having to resort to aging hardware and other such bits and pieces. Also, there's another part of this particular library that you could maybe cover, and that is the Jaguar CD. Yes, I have this year, well, literally a few days ago, I bought Blue Lightning for the Atari Jaguar CD. I am actually debating on buying more games, some more of the sort of core initial library. I'm actually looking at Battlemorph, Hover Strike, Unconquered Lands, Highlander, and Myst. Those are kind of the 4 I want to get now that I've got Blue Lightning. But yeah, or Iron Soldier 2, which adds a lot to it. So why not make a module that goes, hey guys, by the way, like, it's totally cool. Buy this module, you can play these games on it as well. You know, you can play both. You can play both cartridge and non-cartridge. You can play CD, which for a system that sold maybe a maximum of 20,000 units, and of those 20,000 units, maybe a few thousand of them still work or weren't sent to the dump. This has a very thriving fan base. And hell, with their partnership with Atari, I don't see why they wouldn't then go, hey, well, you know, why not? Why not? How about we do a Jaguar module? If you are doing a Jaguar module, and if you're watching this Play Magic, send me one. I would love to review it. And I will give you money. Obviously, that's how this works. But that's what I'm kind of hoping is the next one. Obviously, after the Master System. Master System's lovely. Jaguar, on the other hand, gimme. Yes, please. Very nice. And give me Jaguar CD support. That'd be even better. So I can play all of these games that I'm going to spend a lot of money on and then massively regret it. So, I said there were 3. This one's probably the most out there, probably not going to happen, because why would it? It's a bit pointless. However, given the general buzz around this at this particular moment, it kind of makes a strange warped sense for the Virtual Boy to get its own module. Specifically, its own module with the ability to switch the colours. That'd be really cool. If they were like, yeah, you can switch between red, blue, green, yellow, whatever. You can switch between these 4 primary colours so that your eyes don't burn out of your head from how ugly most Virtual Boy games look. I think it'd be really cool. I mean, look, red and black instead of blue and black, because blue and black would have been easier on the eyes. Nintendo. They still don't give you that option with the new Nintendo Switch Online stuff at all. It's ridiculous. But they are giving us 2 new games that I'm hopefully going to pirate. I mean, get legitimate copies of repro-wise, not pirate. But yeah, that's... So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in the Polymega. I am still planning my big fucking video sort of detailing the weird and wonderful consoles of the 2020s. Basically a bunch of stuff that came out and everyone went, okay, why? I've currently got 1, 2, 3, 4 technically, 5. I need to get 2 more. There are 2 more consoles I'm missing that I've had historically. But look here, I'm also waiting on something else for that particular video. So that's a little while away. That's going to be a few months away. But yeah, I think the potential of Polymega, especially from like a product standpoint, is very bright. I think modules are really cool. Maybe they'll do some peripherals. Who knows? Maybe they'll do like a fucking flight stick. That would be hilarious. For the very few games that use a flight stick in retro gaming. But hell, maybe we'll get PC support. That'd be really cool. Maybe if they go, yeah, floppy disks. Why not? Who knows? I doubt it. But those are the 3 major. Those are the 3 major platforms I can see having a future with Polymega. So I think we're done for another week. This video wasn't really planned. I've got like a fat list of stuff I want to talk about, but I'm sort of waiting on a few bits and pieces for each of them, including a game about, including what's going to be the first in my weird game recommendations. So these are free from my hair. These are game recommendations of shit that nobody has played or nobody wants to play or that are just bizarre and strange. Mostly inspired by Soup of Pants Gaming, discovering my absolute undying love of Giant Citizen Kabuto, my precious boy. So yes, we will have a chat about that, I think potentially next week, but we will see. So, thank you very much and have a lovely day.